idea that I had for this platform came out of the program that we did for GSA Oasis about 2 years ago. That was a large program for us. It gave me a broad view into a lot of different companies. And I just came to the realization after looking at company profiles and talking to a lot of business owners that a lot of our clients were going to get to a place with the addition of Oasis Plus on top of GSA Mass and Seaport Next Gen and all these vehicles, that the number of task orders coming in kind of exceeds the amount of time you have to look at them at the level that it requires. And so we've got really two problems. One is it's just a volume problem, right? The number of incoming missiles is just so big we don't have enough time. The second problem we really have is that these government portals, especially the Navy's portal and GSA e-Buy for that matter, are not built to support bid qualification at scale. They're there to give us a place to go to be notified of what happens. It's their way of notifying us of a bid opportunity, but there are no qualification tools, and the way that they build it just kind of gets in the way of us making good bid decisions. So that presents an opportunity, I think. I also feel like everybody in GovCon is dealing with limited resources. We're all constrained in how many resources we have to apply to the problem of capturing business to bring revenue in. And so we're all looking for ways to be more efficient. Let's talk about a couple things we don't do, then I'll talk about what we do and we focus on. I'm not a capture planning tool. I'm not a CRM tool. I'm not a GovWin style market intelligence research tool kind of wannabe, right? I'm not competing with GovWin. As a matter of fact, my firm is a GovWin subscriber for all the obvious reasons. I'm also not yet a CRM tool. We might add that later, but we're not worried about, we're not trying to solve that problem. There are lots of good solutions for that problem. We are dealing in the ID and qualify space. We live right here in the BD lifecycle. A platform that automates the qualification and scoring of all your incoming task orders. We can also talk about how we apply that same idea to public postings on sam.gov. Kind of do that later in the demo. But we're dealing with the problem of all these bids get posted. You want a quicker, faster way for the cream to rise to the top, for me to identify those golden needles in the haystack, but do it in a couple of minutes rather than 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and do it consistently, day by day, week by week, month by month, so that instead of going on a hunting or fishing trip trying to find these leads, they just get delivered to you. We qualify them, we score them against your bid criteria, and then we send them and we push them to you, and we tell you the ones that you should care about.
Right. So what we're looking at here is the dashboard. This is when you log in. This is the first time you'll see things, unless you get the email. Now, stop there, back up a few seconds, and tell you where the process starts. So you give us authorization through adding our email to your portals, whether that's Seaport or GSA, it doesn't matter. The same process, although Navy's a little more picky. There's a couple steps, and there's 2 or 3 steps, and GSA only has like 1 step. But anyway, we then log in on your behalf, go through all the 2-factor password issues, and download the data and the documents that we see there. We send it through our engine, which is where AI talks to it. We give it 12 or so customized prompts to get us back specific information. And then we add that to the database in our system. At that point, our team takes over because we don't believe AI is perfect. It's demonstrated otherwise. And so that is where the team takes over. And the team does a triage process. And then another team takes care of the quality control, making sure the functional categories really do match, making sure the key personnel really is representative, making sure AI didn't say something that doesn't make sense. Once it's completed, then the complete button is hit. And we attempt to finish within a 6-hour window of the time it's posted to the portal until the time we finish it. So then when the complete button is clicked, two things happen. One, it's available on your dashboard. Two, if you've signed up for the email, an email comes to you with the data points of the RFQ or the opportunity and a PDF of everything we know about it. So that's where it all starts. And then now we're looking at the dashboard. So if you're logging in with your email to app.rfqplus.ai, here is what you see. We can also, up here at the top, we have the filters. You can filter by contract vehicle, type of RFQ, the score, and get down and see the details. Now let me talk a bit about the score, because we have a customized scoring scenario, and it is red, yellow, green, and blue. 4 levels of scoring. Red is, it's not a match in any universe. It's like saying you want bread, but you ask for steak. It's just not a match ever. Yellow is a slight match. Green and blue are what we call qualified. So green's a good match, and blue is a perfect match. So going left to right, we have the score. As you can see, we have the contract vehicle. We have this thing called a client score that allows you to give it a your own score, and it helps you understand, hey, this is I know it says green, but maybe I thought it was yellow or I thought it was blue. You can also use it in different ways to say, okay, I'm going to go in and mark everything blue that I want us to go after, and that way, kind of, I'll give you a reminder. Continuing on left to right, we have the RFQ ID and some other fields that are pretty obvious to anybody in BD. Functional categories on the right are determined for each RFQ, and they match up with a list of, say, they don't match up with the list, but we take them from a list of, say, 175 to 200 functional categories that we have in our system that we've defined. And during the scoring process, which I'll show you, you say to the system, hey, here's my functional categories and here's my scores for them. I like data analytics off of IT and I want that to be perfect. Or here's another one. If I ever see this, I want that to be red because I don't want to do that. So there's some different ways to use the scoring, and when we do the onboarding with you, I will walk you through that and help you understand all the ins and outs. So we can go quickly to the details. All we have to do is click the link, and then we get the details page. This gives us everything we know about an opportunity. So the details is the structured data. That's the stuff that we all understand: solicitation dates, due dates, all the yes, no fields. We ask AI to give us back a government's objective on the RFQ. And we got NAICS code, place and performance, that type of thing. But then we go to the real fun stuff where we start getting real good data, snapshot, and all the details of a given RFQ, the scope of work, the instructions, tech volume, past performance volume, business price volume instructions, eval factors, type of competition, organization of specific evaluation by volume. And all of these, by the way, are the same format every time you see one. There's nothing new under the sun. It just keeps repeating itself, and then the data changes. So our format's the same, the data changes. You get used to looking at something that is easy to see, and you'll be able to understand if this is a go or a no-go quickly. If there's any past performance, it's listed here. I'll come back to that that client past performance in a second. We have our technical outline summary of instructions to offers, list of tasks found in the PWS SOW, resume requirements by job title or key personnel, technical areas of work found in the PWS. Business price volume, we have summary of instructions here, list of documents to submit. And again, every business volume is all laid out the same way, part 1 and part 2. Our functional categories, as a reminder, are here. And then we also grab some news if we can find news related to the organization or the RFQ, the scope of work, or anything like that from our 26 sites that we scrape for news. We can put that here and let you see it. notes is very self-explanatory, but any notes your team writes will be seen here. So every user on your team will see everybody's notes. One of the cool things is you have the ability to ask any questions you want of the chat, of the AI. So if you want to ask a question of these documents, just type it in here and hit that button and off you go. You'll get it. And then if someone else comes in, you'll also see those chats on your AI chat history. We also have a custom AI prompt that we're working on. This is our newest and latest feature, which is getting close to being perfect. And that allows you to fashion a prompt that the system will ask of every single opportunity that come through the system. And if there's something very specific to your company that you'd like to ask of every document, then it will put it here. So that's let me go back to client past performance. This is one of our features we're building out, and that allows you to upload your past performance and then have the system not score it yet. That's coming down in the future, but match it up with this RFQ and say, hey, you have past performance over here. That matches with this RFQ. And that can be a time saver. Because we've also made it so that you can click this button and get to most of the areas I just showed you right here from the first screen. So you just click through them or use the arrows and click through them. Makes it for a super fast way to look at things if you didn't want all of the other details that we have on the detail screen.
Well, and just to pile on here, the real go back to the dashboard, Jim. The real value here is to be able to see, close that modal, would you please? The real value is to be able to see all your recent postings. So now go up, Jim, and filter by green. Let's just look at all the green ones. Now I can see the vehicle they're on, when they're due to close. I can see the functional categories over on the right. We're going to have enhancements to that here coming up pretty soon. And the funding agencies in the center. So let's say I'm interested in this TSA MRAS source of SOT. I don't even have to click the record. I can just click in that row, have a modal dialog pop up right in front of me, and then browse through. Let's say I'm interested in what the RFI instructions are for that. You can get to that in 2 clicks with this technology. Just click on that, hit the instructions, and boom, you're right there. You can read and evaluate this immediately and make a decision about, what's the impact, what you're going to do with it. Do you put it in your CRM? Do you send it to somebody? Whatever. And so the speed to a decision has just been, we've just poured gasoline on that program.
Over here in the back of the system, we have what makes up our scoring parameters. And functional categories, agencies, RFQ types going over here, all these guys plus the score weight make up what we know as our scoring. Using the functional categories, you can assign them the green, blue. You can assign them a red, yellow. Our methodology says that if we don't see a match, we assign it yellow overall. If we do see a match, we'll average the score. If we see a red, we'll say it's like multiplied by 0. It goes to red. That assumes you don't want it at all. And so we take that into account when we look at functional categories that you have assigned to the system. We do the same thing with agencies. You can grab an agency and say, these are the good and perfect matches for me. You could also go the other way and say, hey, this one's a red one. I don't ever want to see anything from these guys because we don't work with those guys. In addition, if the system RFQ is looking at the screen right now, if there's a department or an agency that is not on this list, we will assign it a yellow overall because it's not assigned here. RFQ types is very self-explanatory. Just the question is, which one of these guys do you want? Which one of these guys do you not want? Set-asides are right here. The logic is if the RFQ is not set aside, it ignores this. If the RFQ is set aside, it will see if you have that set aside. If you do not have it, it'll turn it yellow. If you do have it, it'll give it the score you have. Or if you check the not applicable box, you can tell the system to ignore this all the time. These next three, response period, key personnel, and resumes, are the same thing in terms of format. You can turn them off and say they are not applicable. You can give them values, such as to say a response period of 0 to 3. That's too fast for us. We're going to ignore it. We'd like something more like 14 to 100. And so that would go in your blue. You just make sure these don't overlap and put your numbers in and save it that way. Same exact format for key personnel and for resumes. Certifications are here, and this tells you exactly which certifications you have. So the system knows if it sees ISO 20001 and you don't have it, it turns it yellow. If you do have it, it uses that as a part of the scoring. You can also put this into if one of your teaming partners has 20001, you can assign it right there, and just remember that if you see a 20001 yes, then you would use that partner. Robert, you want to talk a little bit about where this is going in relation to teaming partners and scoring?
Yeah, happy to, Jim. Thank you. So yeah, so we kind of developed our whole scoring model with a one-to-one kind of relationship, one scoring model for one subscriber company, and we're evolving that so that you can build in capabilities from your subcontractors, from your joint venture partners, from others, so that you can see the relative score for an opportunity from just TQI, for instance, or maybe in the context of your joint venture, or maybe with one or more teaming partners. And then almost do a little wargaming if you wanted to do that. So we're still working through some of those options and working through kind of what really makes sense, talking to subscriber clients and trying to see what everybody's looking for. But very soon we'll have a model where the score and the matching score for an RFQ won't just reflect your own capabilities, but it'll give you some indicators into what your best teaming strategy is for each of these opportunities.
And the final thing related to scoring is the score weight. We have fashioned a weighting mechanism that is very similar to that college quizzes and college exams, which have different weights to the final grade. You can, as is in this example, functional categories are the most important to them, agencies are less, and the rest of these are minor. So you can determine what the weight is for a given category. Let's see, the customer AI prompt that I mentioned, we just type it in here. I can work with you on fashioning a good prompt because it's a little more nuanced than just asking a simple question. And I think that's it, unless Robert, you want to talk about SAM a little bit?
Well, yeah. So we have a client that's onboarding as we speak, and they are processing and looking at and reviewing, a couple of hundred records from SAM.gov every day. And we're implementing RFQPlus for them for their vehicles, and they want to do the same thing with SAM.gov opportunities. So we added another dashboard. So if you click on SAM.gov over on the left, you get the opportunity dashboard rather than the RFQ dashboard, and we're applying the same logic. The advantage with SAM is that we can process a lot more data because we have an API. GSA gives us an API into SAM, so we can download those records, process them through the same qualification process and scoring process, do that programmatically, do it quickly, and help you process incoming opportunities and postings from SAM. So now with RFQPlus, you've got a complete system for contract vehicles and public postings, so that you get notified rather than having to go on hunting trips every day.